everybody, it's Allie from Padfoot Palms, Poodles, and Pals. So I wanted to make a video and talk about some of the things that are going on behind the scenes. I know that there are not a lot of breeders that talk about, kind of the things that they have to deal with on a regular basis when they're starting out their breeding program, when they're choosing, candidates for their breeding program, and kind of all the things that go with that. For those of you who are new, my name is Allie. I'm a canine nutritionist, and I have a really awesome group of phenomenal individuals on Facebook. If you would like to be a part of our community, the link is down in the description box below. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. Recently, we added another member to our pack. As many of you know, her name is Remedy, and I'll go ahead and insert some pictures and video of her so that you can see her. She's super cute. And one of the first things that I did when we got her home is I sent off for her Embark testing, and I was going to show you what a kit looks like. I appear to have put them away. So we sent off for her genetic testing. Even though both of her parents were clear, it's always the responsible thing to do to go ahead and have them tested. So I just got the results back. And needless to say, I was not happy. And I'm going to talk about that in depth. So please make sure that you watch the whole video so that you get all of the information and how I plan to fix this. Then we got Remedy's results back. Mind you, I saw her results from her mother and her father, which are owned by two separate breeders. And they were both clear. So when we got Remedy's results and she was found to be a carrier for a retinal disorder, I was really shocked because I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. Like, how do we have a puppy coming from two parents who are both clear who has this degenerative retinal, right? Now, she doesn't have it. I should be clear. She's a carrier. She is not affected. So I have been seeing online recently that a lot of people are having issues with Embark specifically. They're having issues with their tests taking forever to get the results. They're having issues with they're getting the testing and then the testing is not accurate. So I was like, okay, let me double check this. So I reached out to her mom's breeder, who had originally sent me all of the paperwork. And I asked her, I was like, hey, didn't you say that both of the parents were clear? She forwarded me the testing again. And I said, okay, great, thank you. I'm going to forward this on to Embark and see if they'll retest her. Because there were also some other things in her color testing that didn't make sense to me. So I wanted to have them rerun the test to see if this was just an error, if the test wasn't done correctly, right? Because if both parents are clear, how did she suddenly pop up for a disease? So there's that. I am currently waiting to hear back from Embark. I'm hoping that they still have the sample on hand since they just sent me my results yesterday and they are willing to rerun it. I'm hoping that's not going to cost me an arm and a leg, but we'll see. It also makes me question, am I going to be using Embark in the future, right? Previously, I had used Optimal Selection, and I never had any issues with them. They were very timely. Their kits are just as easy to use. The only reason why I went with Embark this go round is because they had a coupon and it made them considerably more affordable So I was like, okay, well, I'll just buy multiple kits and we're good to go. And I still have the other kits to use. So not really thrilled about this so far, but I will make an update video, specifically on the Embark testing and to see, are they going to run it again? Are they going to charge me? Is she going to come back clear this time? Are her, color traits going to change? So there are a lot of factors here. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that Remedy is CKC registered, and that's Continental Kennel Club. That's not Canadian Kennel Club. Normally, I don't buy dogs who are CKC. However, she was listed at a very good price, and she had the coloring specifically that I was looking for. So when I talked to the breeder about her temperament, her parents' temperament, it seemed like she could potentially be a good fit. When I was doing the research of the sire of the litter, right, Remedy's dad, I knew that I had seen him before in the stud groups, and I was like, hey, I recognize that dog. I decided that I was going to go look him up, and as it turns out, he is AKC registered. Great. So this puts us off already on the right foot, because one of the things that you can do is you can email the AKC with the pedigree and registration and any information you can provide them. They will research your dog's pedigree to see if they actually qualify to be AKC registered. Now, it is not a guarantee that they will be admitted into AKC. They have to have multiple generations of AKC dogs. Well, on the entire dad's side, right, is AKC dogs. Obviously, he's AKC registered. And purchasing the pedigree, right, specifically to show me what was on the mom's side of the family, I had some questions about how far back I should go. So normally your standard option is a 3-generation pedigree. And you'll find that on your, CKC registration forms, right? It'll say registration plus 3-generation pedigree. I decided that I was going to message CKC, and they have like a little online chat thing, which is actually really nice. And I had them look up the mom, and I said, okay, here's my puppy. I'm getting her CKC registered. I need to know how far back to go with the generations because I'm trying to get her AKC registered. So can you please look? Because CKC is really, really bad about having blanks in their pedigrees, right? This is one of the reasons why AKC is much highly sought after, or much more highly sought after, because as a registry, right, they tend to do a better job. So CKC, of course, they have all these blanks, and it'll say original stock, and sometimes you can get them to research and fill in those blanks, but that costs extra, right? It's a whole, you have to remember that one registry is not the end-all be-all, right? It's a business. So for most people, they don't care about this sort of thing, but specifically for my purposes, it makes a big difference because I'm trying to go back far enough in the pedigree so that AKC can research those dogs to then see if she qualifies, right, for AKC. So I spoke to the person online, doing a little online messaging, and I said, okay, here's what I'm looking at. Can you look at the 5-generation pedigree and tell me, is it just a bunch of blanks, or am I actually going to get some dogs that, could potentially be AKC dogs? One of the things that CKC does is dogs that are on the pedigree, but that may be registered with another registry, they will change how they're listed on there. So for example, for poodles, they will start with the initials PED. I have no idea what that stands for. And then they'll have their registration number. So she indicated to me that going back 5 generations would absolutely be worth the money because there were multiples on there that had that distinction. So I was like, okay, here we go. We're cooking with gas, right? We're making some progress. So I purchased the 5 generation pedigree, which, by the way, if you're going to try to do that through CKC, you have to email them to purchase it. If you just want the registration papers and the 5 generation pedigree, if you want the big, huge, $100 packet that includes a 5 generation pedigree, that's located on their registration options, you can do that if you want to spend that kind of money. I didn't. Obviously, I don't need all that extra stuff like tags with their name on it and books about how to take care of your puppy. I don't need all that. So if you want just the registration and a 5 generation pedigree, then you just email that to them and they'll either contact you for payment information or you can send it to them. You can also fax it if you are of a mind to send a fax, if people still do that nowadays. Okay, so where are we? Okay, so sent that in, right? Got the 5 generation pedigree. It does look promising. There's quite a few on there that look like they may be registered with another registry. I have no idea what other registry it is. You know what? Let's take a second and look at that. Hang on. Okay, I had to go get Remedies folder and I'll hold it up here for you guys. So all of my dogs have a folder like this. When you open it up, let me just make sure I don't have anything that has my address on it. Okay, you open it up, it's got all of their information. So here's like her little stuff for her Embark kit. Here's the stuff that originally came from the breeder, right? Here is the Embark printout, right? I'm gonna have them redo that, so I'll have to reprint it. Okay, so let me pull out her registration papers here. Okay. Ba-da-da-da. Now, for experienced breeders, when you see all of these blanks up here that say original stock, that would give you pause, right? That would make you panic. Don't worry about that part on this specific pedigree because that pertains to the dad who I already know is AKC registered and had provided that information to the AKC for them to research. So we are only going to be looking at the mom's pedigree. So what I'm going to do is kind of fold this so that you can see. Okay, so if you take a look here closely, I hope that's not backwards. So for their registry, they'll have PD and then dash the registration number, right? But if you take a look further back in the registry, if I can line this up correctly. Okay, here we go. So if you take a look farther back, you can see that they have some that have the demarcation PED and then a number, right? And that's kind of what you're looking for. So I sent this, which took 3 scans to get it centered so that they could see the whole thing. So I sent this, I sent her registration, copy of her registration papers. I sent a copy of her dad's registration, right? Right, got that here. All they really need is the registration number, which is right up here. So I sent a copy of that so that they can do the research part. Now, they say it can take anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks for AKC to research and decide whether or not a dog can be AKC registered, right? If they have the correct lineage. I'm really hoping that it doesn't take that long, but it's one of those things where we just have to wait and see. So one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this is because, one, it's not really something that's talked about. Two, breeders take a lot of risk, right? I mean, I have really gone out on a ledge for this puppy in regards to my program. She's not with the correct registry. She's potentially not the correct coloring, right, that I was looking for. And she's potentially a carrier for a genetic disorder, which changes how I would pair her, right, with other potential studs. So it's a lot to take in. And for those of you who don't know, being a carrier doesn't mean that puppies will be affected. Very generally speaking, it just means that you breed to another clear, right? And then you have puppies who are clear and or carriers. So, yeah, lots of risk here. What are some of the upsides? Well, she has a phenomenal temperament. She really does. She's very, very smart. She's very inquisitive. She is emotionally stable. She's confident. And she looks at you and it looks like she's, peering into your soul. Like you can just tell that the little gears in her brain are just turning. She's picking things up very quickly, which is common for poodle puppies. I mean, she's essentially house trained herself. She really did phenomenal with that. And she gets along great with the other dogs. She loves Bear, our little rescue Pomeranian. She loves all the other dogs. Even when they scold her or correct her for inappropriate puppy behavior, like biting too hard or, grabbing onto their ears and pulling, she takes corrections from them very well. She bounces back very quickly. It's obvious that she has a very good foundation, right? Which is so important for my program, right? I mean, I'm looking at having service dogs, whether they're diabetic alert or other, and that's really important. You need a dog who is confident, who picks things up quickly, very trainable, right? Because that makes a big difference because they need to go through a lot of training. So, I mean, she's got some potential. So while I'm taking a risk with the whole registration part, and her coloring, there are a lot of pros, but in her specific case, there are a lot of pros and cons, which are kind of meeting in the middle here. So what I'm hoping is that Embark will redo the test, and hopefully it will come back that she's clear, and perhaps her color testing will change. Basically, I was really hoping that she carried Phantom, which for those of you who don't know, is the term for tan points in poodles. Right now, she's just showing up as Sable, which is not, I knew that she was going to carry Sable, but I was hoping that there would, be more, especially with carrying Phantom, just because of the direction I'm trying to go with my poodles. I'm not a huge fan of Sable. I will say that right now. Velocity carries Sable, and it is something that I am looking to avoid in my poodles. I find that of the people who are purchasing poodles, they like to know what their poodle is going to look like as an adult, which if you have a color like silver beige or red, right, which we have both of, it can be challenging because people want to know, okay, is my puppy going to fade over time? And when you have a poodle, the answer is always yes, right? Because they have that fading gene. So that part is challenging. I've done multiple polls in multiple groups, and Sable has always come in at the bottom as far as desirable colors. So, you know, I mean, I'm just trying to avoid it. It's my personal preference. I know that there are people out there who like Sable dogs. It's just my preference. My hope was to be able to breed her to a phantom, right, and create phantoms. That was the whole point. Having said that, Suze has showed pictures of Remedy to a lot of people that she knows, people locally. When they ask, they're like, oh, what dog do you have? Because we have, you know, poodle stickers on our cars. And she'll show them pictures, and they're like, oh my God, I've never seen one that color before. So, I mean, she's definitely got potential. I don't want to make it seem like she doesn't. I just have a very specific plan for my program, and I'm trying to stick to that plan. So, what does that mean long-term for Remedy? Well, it's hard to say. It's really going to depend on if they will accept her and register her as AKC or not, because that's going to be challenging, because I do not plan to have CKC dogs in my program. It means that not only would I have to find an outside stud for her moving forward, I would have to also find a stud who's CKC. The puppies, you know, you can't charge as much for CKC puppies. I mean, you can, you know, but people are less likely to pay it. And, you know, there are a lot of factors that go into that. We did CKC when we bred Pomeranians, and I just didn't want to go that route again. I wanted to have only AKC dogs going forward. So yeah, so it's really going to depend on, you know, the Embark results. If she's a carrier, again, that's not the end of the world. It just means that we have to be careful about who we pair her with. And I may opt to, if they do run the test again and it comes back the same, I may opt to genetically test her with another company, like Optimal Solution or Paw Prints or something like that. So there's that. Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do. If AKC does the research and they decide that they're not going to admit her, that's going to be challenging. So this is part of the challenge that breeders face when they're looking at adding breeding stock to their program, right? Because to be a responsible breeder, I only have so much room in my program, right? I can only care for and love and give time and affection to so many dogs before it becomes too much. So at some point, as a responsible breeder, you have to make a decision about, okay, am I going to keep this puppy for my program and make it work, right? And do the steps to make it work? Or am I going to, you know, rehome them to a pet home, right? And then try to replace them with another puppy. So we've got some challenges. In the meantime, we will continue to work with Remedy and kind of prep her for her life with us, right? We've been working on, I don't know if I have it. I do have it here. We've been working with her on grooming, right? And I have my little tiny groomer. I love this one. I got it off of Amazon. I love this one for working with puppies because It's not super loud. It's not very scary. They can put their mouth on it, right, and kind of touch it. You can put it on their face, and it just kind of lightly vibrates. It's a really great way to do their feet, right, in between those little puppy toes, and also the corner of the eyes, right, which can, the hair tends to grow out, and then they get little eye boogies, which, you know, is not fun for anybody. It can also make it difficult for them to see. So this has been great. She's doing really well with these. She has a grooming appointment this Saturday, as well as a vet appointment for her last round of shots. So I am hopeful that she will do well at the groomers, but we will continue to work with her on that. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Lots going on. I will make a follow-up video to this to provide an update and let you know if Embark is going to do the retesting, how much it's going to cost. Hopefully it'll be free. I'll let you know, if the results come back different than the first round of results, because I feel like a lot of people, a lot of breeders specifically, are talking about that right now. They're talking about how they're having to get their results redone and they're getting different results. So, I mean, that's huge. It makes a big difference in your program. And I'll also let you guys know when we hear back from AKC on whether or not Remedy will be accepted, and be AKC registered. So yeah. Okay, well, that's all I've got so far. I'll keep you updated and let you know what's happening. If you made it all the way through the video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, give me a thumbs up. If this was a topic that was helpful for you, if it provided you with any kind of insight. I know a lot of breeders don't know about the AKC Pedigree research program. So hopefully this was helpful. And yeah, or if you found that it wasn't helpful, it was boring and terrible and you hated it, give me a thumbs down. That's okay too. Just do something. Do either one, whichever one you want, do something. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next video.